Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Week in Astrology with your friend Gretchen Heidel, full-time astrologer, life coach, Reiki master, and so much more. And I am here tonight co-recording on both Facebook and YouTube. So if you see me looking up and down, that's why I have two cameras set up. I'm on Facebook Live and I post this after the fact on YouTube. So welcome, welcome. I'm going over This Week in Astrology. It is a big, huge week. So get your popcorn, get out a notepad and a pen because we have a lot to go over. In 1 week, we have, well, I'll start with yesterday. We had Mercury went into Aries. Then we start Aries season with the spring equinox. Then we are going to go straight into the new moon in Aries. Then we switch from Ceres goes into Virgo. So we're going to be switching with Ceres and Virgo. Then we're going to have Pluto go into Aquarius. Then we're going to have Mars go into Cancer in 1 week. Okay. So I've been talking about this month for an entire probably month now. And it's, you know, that whole saying of Mars comes in like a lamb and goes out, or comes in like a lion, goes out like a lamb. Well, Mars this year in 2023 comes in like a lion and goes out like a lion. I mean, it is just jam-packed full, and we don't seem to really have any downtime or any quiet time. This particular month is going to be big. So if you're just joining, welcome. If somebody could comment on Facebook so that I know that the broadcast is actually working, that would be awesome sauce. Put your name, put your astrological sign. I love to hear where everybody's tuning in from, you know, just your state or location that you're in. You don't have to get too specific because it's the internet. But yeah, hey, welcome. Oh, yay. We have somebody that commented, Wendy. Oh, awesome. Scorpio sun, Virgo moon, and rising sign. Wow, double Virgo from Vermont. Welcome. Love that. Thank you for commenting, because then I know that the post is actually working. And if you guys can tap the like button and share with your friends, that's awesome too, because that gets the algorithm rolling. Hey, Jill. Yay, it's working. She said, Taurus, welcome. Good to see you. Okay, so I'm just going to dive right into the deep end because it is going to be a lot. Hey, Ashley, welcome back. Okay, so we have 3 days of Aries this week. We start with, so the broadcast is airing Monday night, March 20th, 2023. And some of this information is going to be valid for a couple days, a week, a month, and then years and years to come. You probably know what I'm talking about. Pluto. So hey, Robin, welcome. Ashley has Sagittarius sun, Libra moon, and Taurus rising. I love that. Welcome. Hey, Robin, welcome. So we have 3 days of Aries, March 19th, 20th, and 21st. Big news in the Aries department. So if any of you have Aries in your personal astrological chart, you need to know where that is in your chart. We all have Aries somewhere. It just depends if you have any planets there, sun, moon, rising, Venus, Mars, any of those planets, Mercury. This is going to affect you. So on Sunday, March 19th, this Mercury actually moved into Aries. And then today, just before this broadcast airs, on Monday, the 20th, we have the spring equinox, which is amazing, and the start of Aries season, which is also the start of the new year. I always talk about this, how January 1st was some arbitrary number that somebody made up, but hello, of course, the first day of the spring is the new year. And that is also why it is International Astrology Day. So any of you astrologers out there, happy International Astrologers Day. And so the sun moves into the astrological sign of Aries. So people don't even realize, like, I just had some, we'll just say a weirdo, commenting on my post today, spring equinox, that I was an evil doer or some kind of thing. I blocked him already, but I don't think there's a disconnect between what what does this mean basically when we go into these equinoxes and we go into fall and spring and summer, well, it's because the planets moved into these certain sectors, and that's why we're celebrating. And this misguided, misinformed gentleman that, and I'm using that very loosely, they commented rudely on my post, doesn't even realize that we are celebrating, everybody's celebrating because the sun moved into Aries today, and we have equal parts light and dark. So if you're in the northern hemisphere of the world, we're celebrating the entrance of spring, and then in the southern hemisphere of the world, they're celebrating the entrance of fall. So that's basically what it means, is to have equal day and night time hours, and that's the equinox. And we're at one of the 4 points of the year. It's either a solstice or an equinox, and so the solstices are when the daylight is either the longest or shortest. And the equinoxes are equal. So it's equal sunlight to daylight. So, sunlight to nighttime. And so basically we're all celebrating, whether it's an astronomical thing or an astrology thing, it doesn't matter what you believe in. We're celebrating. We've been celebrating this for many, many years. It's not a new thing that in history and time that we celebrate the entrance of spring. Many cultures did that because, it meant that we were going to eat some food and grow some vegetables finally after the cold, hard winter is over. So a lot of people celebrated that, come on. Ashley said, no planets in Aries for you. Okay, that's unusual. Carrie, Aries, yay, we have an Aries joining. I'm an Aries too, so I'm excited. Wendy, Aquarius in Vermont. You'd rather walk in my world than my rude commenter. Thank you. Kathy, Sagittarius. Stephanie, Taurus. Hey, Kelly, welcome. So we have the spring equinox, and that started today, March 20th, 2023, which is also the start of Aries season. And that is happened today at 5:24 p.m. Eastern time. So earlier than that, if you're out on the West Coast, at 2:34 p.m. if you're on the West Coast. And so yay, we have the start of Aries season, and we have the start of the spring equinox. So I hope you were able to bring in some fresh flowers. I have my peace lily really wants to get into the camera here, but she's kind of on the YouTube a little bit better, but she has two little like blossoms, so she's trying to peek in. I have this peace lily that sits next to me, and my family, it's been in my family for, my grandmother had it, my mom had it, and I have it, and it's been in my family for a long time, and we call it the mall plant because literally it's so big, it could be in a mall. Just saying. So my peace lily's always like trying to come into the camera when I'm on film. But it's okay. She can come in. She's a beautiful peace lily. Oh, hey, Kate, Pisces, welcome. And so we have the spring equinox today, but there is a transit today with the sun, sextile Pluto. Now, the sun, this happened before. It was like right at the very, very end of Pisces, when the sun was in Pisces, right before it made the switch. So 4:12 p.m., just like almost an hour before the sun switched into, because that's how close Pluto is to leaving, that was even possible, leaving the station of Capricorn. So the sun is going to be sextile Pluto today. That's some power stuff that, so a lot of people were texting me today that they were having problems at work, or that it was very intense, or that they had some issues. So sun sextile Pluto is why. Sorry, I know it's the spring equinox, and yay, it's Aries season. And Aries itself is a sign that, I love my brothers and sisters that are Aries, us Rams, but we can be kind of argumentative and forceful and things like that. So we have to be careful because we are in Aries season. Ashley said, green thumb. Yes, I do have a green thumb, big time. I have trouble. I have plants all over the place. Some of them I don't want, and they just keep growing like all the weeds, but it's okay. I love them anyway. Almir, Taurus with Cancer moon and Sagittarius rising. I love that blend of earth and fire, Almir. Marguerite, awesome. Welcome, Taurus in Florida and Vermont. That's awesome. So then tomorrow we have even more energy. So I'm not even going to stop. I'm going to keep going because we have a lot to get to. So I'm going to cover Aries kind of in one big sort of clump, cluster, if you will. The moon is going to be, the new moon is going to be in Aries tomorrow. So boom, right after the sun goes into Aries, it meets up with the moon, which will be newly in Aries. It's so new that it's going to be 0 degrees Aries. Okay, so it's right at the very, very beginning. So if you were born right now, you'll be in the heart of this. If you are in Aries, of course, you're going to be in the heart of this. If you were born in Libra, also you'll be feeling, Libras will be feeling the stress of this because Aries and Libra are opposite of each other. So if you have any Libra in your chart, if you are a Libra, you might find it to be a little bit more stressful. All of the fire signs are going to be fired up, okay? The Sages and the Leos and the Aries out there, we're all going to be fired up. And even if we have an air signs in our chart like Gemini or Aquarius, but like I said, not if you're Libra. Libra's an air sign, but definitely might get sort of the stressor or the tension that comes from this particular thing. Hello, Andrea. Welcome. Happy almost birthday. Thank you. Yes, it's my birthday this week. So yay. Celebrating my birthday. Ashley said if you have a Libra moon, yeah. So the moon's going to be opposite. Aries moon's going to be opposite your Libra moon. So that's almost like a full moon for you. Instead of being a new moon, it'll be a full moon. So you'll get more of the stressor of it. So yeah, so the new moon's coming tomorrow on Tuesday, March 21st, 2023, and that is going to be taking place at 1:23 p.m. Eastern Time. So 11, what is that? 12, 11, 10:50, 23 a.m. if you're out on the West Coast. Sorry, sometimes I'm trying to talk, do math, look at 2 cameras. It's a lot. And so that's going to be the peak of it, the height of it, the pinnacle of it, okay? And then it starts to release after that. So you always want to take advantage of the new moon. So new moons are all about doing new things, having fresh starts, new beginnings. Okay, so full moons are endings. So we want to think about new things. And then I just said Aries is all about new, okay? That's why we're celebrating the astrological new year, because that's when all the springtime, we're all waking up, you know, it's like when everybody starts waking up. It's springtime up here in the northern hemisphere, and the crocuses are coming, and the tulips are coming, and the daffodils, and all the beautiful spring flowers that are tough as cookies. They're tough. They're very, very tough, little cute flowers that we celebrate those springtime flowers, but they are tough as nails because they have to come up from the frozen ground and literally come into, you know, to be able to come up. So it's something that is very, very important to remember, that Aries is new. The new moon is new. Aries season is new. Aries is new. So it's all about starting new things. This is probably the best time of the year right now, not in August, not in September. In fact, those times are a hot mess in our 2023 calendar. August and September, a hot mess. Okay, even into October, there's a hot mess kind of time frame in that bubble. Don't wait until then. Now is the time. Now, I have people that get confused about that because they almost like assume that I'm saying like it has to be all completely done. No, it has to just be started. Even if you write it down as an intention on your new moon manifestation list. Okay, so you want to write out your new moon manifestation list. Okay, you want to put all the things that you want on the list after tomorrow at 1:23 p.m. Eastern Time, because that's when the new moon starts. Now, I always get people to say, when should I really write my list? Well, first of all, I'd always rather have you write it than to not write it. Okay, so write the list anytime. So if you are really busy that day and the only time you can write it is in the morning before the new moon, go ahead and write it. I'd rather have you write it than not write it. But if you want to be really correct about it, because you have available time and you want to just make sure you have the right, the way, is you want to do it after the release of the new moon and the start, because that 1, 2, 3 p.m. is what starts it. Okay, so you always want to write it from the new moon to the full moon. If you write it before the new moon peaks, you're still kind of technically in the full moon time. So you always want to write it after it peaks, okay, and we're on the other side of the new moon. And then you can write it anytime after 1:23 p.m. Eastern time. If you want to write it at 1:25 p.m., you can do that. But I wouldn't write it at 7 a.m. Unless if you're going to skip writing it, if you don't write it at that time and you forget. I don't want you to forget. I'd rather have you write it than not write it. So that's the time of day to write it. And this is one of the most powerful new moons of the year because Aries is new moon is new things, Aries season is a new thing. So, I mean, we got all the new stuff, okay, to start with. So it's better to do it than not do it. Now, somebody out there is probably going to watch this and go, but wait a minute. We have a second new moon coming in Aries. That is correct. That is correct. Okay, the second new moon coming in Aries. This is a very unusual year where we have 2 new moons in Aries. We have one this month, and then next month we have another one. I just said to you guys that it's 0 degrees Aries. So it's the very beginning of Aries. So it's the newest new moon that you can get. It's 0 degrees. It doesn't go into negative numbers. It starts at 0. So, the next new moon in Aries is going to be next month on April 20th, but that's going to be, first of all, the last degree of Aries, 29 degrees Aries. Okay, so, it's the last degree. But not only that, it's the day before Mercury retrograde starts, and that new moon is a total solar eclipse ring of fire. Okay, so it's going to be a ring of fire hybrid eclipse in Aries. I'm not loving that. It's like we're going to have it, and we should always do new moon manifestations, but eclipses are kind of, they can sometimes be very contentious. It's right the day before Mercury retrograde. So, you're trying to harvest something new in your life. Mercury retrograde's right after that. It's kind of, and then it's at the last degree of Aries. So all said and done, I'm not totally in love with that particular time. And also the sun's going to be at the last degree Aries. So the sun's going to be 29 degrees Aries. The moon's will be 29 degrees Aries. And then it goes into Taurus on that day. So that day on April 20th, next month, 2023, is, yes, it's a new moon in Aries, a second in a row, but it's going to be contentious and sort of difficult. It has a lot of difficult energy around it. So that was a really long way of saying is utilize this new moon that's coming tomorrow. Okay. Utilize this new moon that's coming tomorrow. Okay. Double Aries, like I said, 0 degrees sun in Aries, 0 degrees moon in Aries. Okay. So we have that. Then we also have we do have some kind of stuff going on in the background. We have Jupiter forming a semi-square with Saturn in the background of this new moon. And we have the sun in Aries opposing Ceres in Libra. Jupiter, by the way, is in Aries also. And then we have Saturn over there in Pisces. So they're semi-square with each other. So somebody that we all know made an announcement that he was going to be arrested on Tuesday. If you follow politics or the news or anything, oh my gosh, Wendy, you just got a new puppy. I love it. That's amazing. I had to stop for puppy news because puppy news takes precedence over everything. Okay, so there is our ex-former president, Donald Trump, and he actually made an announcement he might be arrested on Tuesday. There's so much contention and so much weird energy this week. I wouldn't be surprised if he was. He is in the middle of his, and I'm not getting into a big political thing, but he is in the middle of a legal cycle in his astrological chart, so it doesn't surprise me. And Jupiter, which is law and legal stuff, is forming a semi-square with Saturn, which is rules and regulations. So that is going to be activated tomorrow for him and everybody else in the world. So we are going to have some very interesting times tomorrow, I think. So this new moon's got a little bit of a punch to it. Now look, if you are a law-abiding citizen and you're following the rules and you don't have any legal problems going on in your life, you know, just be aware of speeding tickets. But if you have some legal stuff, this could stir things up. Because remember, Jupiter and Jupiter and Saturn are the two most predictive planets, and they're semi-squares. Semi-squares mean it's a half of a square. So they're about a half a square away from each other in the sky. So it's a little contentious between those two. It's Zeus and Kronos, basically. That's who they were in mythology. So it's active right now. It's been active even since last week, and then the peak of it is tomorrow at 5:27 a.m. Eastern time. And then we also have some sort of feminine energy in here. The sun opposing Ceres this week. There's some feminine energy in there. And so that's contentious too. So we want to kind of watch, because there is a little bit of sort of stuff going on in the background. But for people like you and I, we're just going to manifest and do some really positive things, because there's a lot of good energy. Kelly said Gemini, Leo rising. Yeah. So, and it depends on where, see, it's in Uranus is in his 9th house. But Kelly, it depends on what your rising sign is, where it is, because you might not be in a legal cycle. You might be in more of a career cycle in the 10th house. Anyway, getting back to this, we have a lot going on. So manifest positive energy. Now, I'm going to say this. We have the beginning of Aries season. I'm going to talk more about this next week because I have a lot to get through on this broadcast. But I want to say this. The archangel that is associated with Aries is Ariel. Okay. So Archangel Ariel, remember, the archangels are sort of genderless. They're gender neutral, they, them situation. Some texts sort of talk about Archangel Ariel in a more of a male or a female. Different archangels are associated with different genders, but really technically they're gender neutral. And that is said to be the guardian or the person, the archangel that is assigned to sort of Aries, and so, or associated with Aries. So, Aries is kind of feisty. It's a fire sign. First of all, it's the first sign of the zodiac, so we have to be pretty tenacious. Those Aries little crocuses and stuff, they have to be tenacious to come up out of the ground. So a lot of Aries, I like to use the word scrappy. A lot of Aries are scrappy. Lady Gaga, okay, Eddie Murphy. There's just a lot of Aries. God, there's so many Aries. Even Reese Witherspoon, even though she doesn't seem scrappy, she really is. I mean, she's got her all-female, production, kind of thing in Hollywood, which is very unusual, in Hollywood. So there's a lot of scrappy sort of Aries people that are in this world. Robert Downey Jr. I mean, I could go on and on. It's just, it's a lot. So we have a scrappy archangel here. In fact, Archangel Ariel is called the Lion of God, okay, and was said to be the patron saint of wild beasts. Okay, so Archangel Ariel is really associated with nature, with animals, with the planet of Earth, and really is a defender of animals, which is kind of interesting because I've always felt that way. I'm an Aries and I've always felt that way personally. And so Archangel Ariel is said to be a healer and protector of nature, but also kind of interesting, the ironically, very gentle and loving with nature, but also said to be the punisher of demons. You know, like I said, archangels kind of are similar to the astrological signs. So the Lion of God, okay, is Archangel Ariel. Now, if you see the numbers 444, 444, angel numbers, that is associated with Archangel Ariel. Is very closely associated with the four elements: earth, wind, fire, and water. And so because Ariel is really so strongly associated with nature, and also like whenever you need to have like courage or strength, because remember, the Lion of God is, you know, if you think of the tarot card of strength, you get a lion. There's a picture of a lion on that strength card. So whenever you need some strength, you don't have to be an Aries to pray to any angel, archangel, and you also don't have to be any particular religion. In all religions, archangels are associated. There's always like a version, and even in Judaism, Catholicism, and other religions have archangels in them. And so, yeah, so if you want to have some more Aries energy, if you need a little bit more chutzpah and a little bit more, you know, courage and strength, you can pull upon Archangel Ariel and pray to them, and you know, that will help you. So Aries is also associated with red. So when you think about, sorry, I'm going off camera for a second there. If you think about any of these red stones, this is some carnelian. If you need, again, if you need to fire up some of that Aries energy, you could definitely go with, you know, one of the red stones, like carnelian or ruby or any of the other ones. Now, if you're an April Aries, diamonds, you're lucky. Diamonds are your stone. Okay, you got some little diamond. This is a CZ, but you know, there's little diamonds. And also, if you're March Aries, this is a very light but old antique. This middle ring here on my middle finger is an old antique of aquamarine. And if you can kind of see a little bit on the camera, that it is light blue with a little diamond in the middle of it. So I was wearing that today to show you if you need to cool down. So let's say you're too fiery by nature. Let's say you're a little too aggressive. Let's say you have a little, you know, a little bit too, you know, in people's faces, then you might want to go toward the light blue stone to sort of calm some of that Aries energy. But if you need more fire, if you need to be more aggressive, more stand up for yourself, then you want to harness these red stones, and that would be good for you. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Joanne. She said, I look amazing. Thank you very much. Wendy said, Ariel, right up in your dirty hands in the garden. That's awesome. And so, yeah, so we have a whole month of, like I said, all the way from March 20th, going all the way until next month of April 20th, 2023. That is going to be Aries season this year, and we have a lot going on. So make sure you write out your new moon manifestation list. Like I say, I always write mine as a thank you letter, fold it, put it under your pillow, and then burn or destroy it during the next full moon coming, which the next full moon is coming always in 2 weeks. So that's going to be on April 6th, 2023. And that full moon will be in the sign of Libra. So if any of you have Libra moon out there, which a couple people said they did, that is a thing. Jody, hello, welcome. Cancer, Aries rising. Oh, your son is an Aries March 26th. Happy birthday. That's awesome. Ashley said you burned your last one today. You can actually wait. So if anybody, that's a good question, Ashley. So if anybody forgets to burn or destroy their full moon manifestation list, just leave it under the pillow and write another one, and then burn both of them on the next full moon. You might want to put it on your calendar and remind yourself, but you can do that. You can leave it going until the next one. If it hasn't changed, you can leave it going too, and then burn or destroy it on the next one. But Ashley, you burned it the day before. It's fine. Like I said, we're still in the full moon cycle until tomorrow at 1:23 p.m. and then it goes over the hill into the new moon region. Okay, so we have a lot more going on. Oh my gosh, this is insane. I'm only going to touch very briefly on Ceres, the asteroid. We've talked about this going into Virgo, and that is going to be on Wednesday, March 22nd. That's also the night that Ramadan begins at sundown. If you celebrate that out there, if anybody's on line that celebrates it, Ceres will go into Virgo that night at 11:39 p.m. Now, because Ceres is retrograde right now. Now, I did a whole other broadcast about Ceres, and so it's on my YouTube channel. If any of you want to kind of check in with that, I might even record another mini video about that. But basically, that's possibly going to affect our grain, our harvest, talk about our earth. I mean, we have some really crazy things going on right now, especially with Ukraine, and that's apparently the breadbasket of the world and where we get a lot of wheat and harvesting and things. And so I do think there is going to be a shortage, sadly, and Ceres this year is kind of the thing that's sort of activating it. Of course, there's other earthly things that are activating it, but remember, astrology is the clock. So it's sort of like blaming the clock for it being 4 o'clock in the afternoon. No, it just is 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Or I heard another good analogy of it's like blaming your app that you're looking at for your stocks going up or down. Well, it's not the app's fault. It's just the stocks are just going up and down. The app is just letting you know what your numbers are. And so that's what astrology is. It's like a time, it's a clock and a time. We celebrate with times. So that is a thing. Florida lost, I didn't know that, Wendy. Florida lost the majority of oranges because of freeze. Yeah, this is going to mess up. This is going to definitely mess up our food situation this year. Ceres being retrograde, Ceres swinging back and forth between Virgo and Libra. It's going to be, especially in Virgo, because it's an earth sign. So I mean, if you think about wheat and different things coming from. Oh, great. Almir said the government announced flour shortage grains in general. Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of stuff going on right now with that. So unfortunately, Ceres is retrograde and now just left Libra and went backwards and returned to Virgo. And that's going to be on Wednesday. It hasn't happened yet, but it's coming. Now, we do have a big thing coming, and it's so big that I do feel that I'm going to record a separate video about this big news, which is Pluto entering the astrological sign of Aquarius. This is going to be happening on Thursday, March 23rd at 8:13 a.m. Eastern Time. So again, 3 hours earlier than that if you're out on the West Coast at 5:13 a.m. This is huge. This is the biggest news of the entire year in astrology, okay? Because any time that Pluto moves into any sign at all, it's a big, huge deal. Because Pluto takes 248 years to go all the way around the sun just one time. So in our lifetime, Pluto only changes signs like 4 or 5 times or 6 times at most in a lifetime. So because each year it's in each sign anywhere between 10 and 24 years long. So what this it just gives birth to an entire new generation of people. That's basically what happens. So remember, there's big hands and there's little hands on the clock. Well, this is like the longest, most far-reaching hand on a clock that's possible. It's the slowest hand on a clock. And that's Pluto. And so Pluto has been in Capricorn ever since 2008. Okay, right at the very super beginning, January of 2008. So we are how do I say this? We're kind of lackadaisical now about Pluto being in Capricorn because, hello, it just is in Capricorn and it's been in Capricorn for so long. We're not used to Pluto doing anything. So when Pluto becomes activated, that's why it's a huge big deal, because we're suddenly going to have a tsunami of change. And if you think about back in 2008, when it went into Capricorn, Capricorn is banking systems, government, structures, all kinds of things like that. It's ruled by Saturn, right? Rules and regulations and things like that. Boom, we went right into the crash, the real estate crash, the bubble crash, back in 2008. President Obama took office back in 2008. That was right when he started his first day. It was like, boom, President Obama. So that was a big change. We had all kinds of stuff going on. And so it's really, really just stressful, I guess, in some ways, of Pluto changing. It's not a connotation of good or bad, it just is. But right when it moved into that big core, we started asking all these questions of corporate, America, really, like, how big is it too big for a company? Or, what do we need to kind of like, should we regulate things, and should we scale back, and should we sort of maybe look 2 or 3 or 4 times at somebody's credit before we give them a loan for real estate? This is all that Pluto and Capricorn stuff since 2008 that we've been dealing with. Now, just before, it was 29 degrees Capricorn, and now banks are failing. So see, remember I was saying like this type of stuff is going to come up, and if you don't remember, you can rewatch my video of the Pluto return in the United States, which I recorded, I think it was last year. It is on my YouTube channel, but the United States is starting to have its very, very first Pluto return, because we are 248 years old. Our birth date is July 4th, 1776. So now Pluto came back around to where it was when the United States was born. Okay. And so that's all tied up. All of this is tied up together. It's not separate from, it's together. Now, you and I are not going to have a Pluto return, like I just said, ever in our personal charts, but the United States, a country, okay, can have Pluto return because, it's been around that long. You and I are not going to have that, but you and I definitely are going to have a change of Pluto going into Aquarius. So it depends on where that line is between Capricorn and Aquarius in your astrological chart. It's going to take almost 2 years, okay, for Pluto to fully get into Aquarius. We are having the precursor of it between now and June. Okay, we're having the very first, I call it the appetizer. We're having the very first pre-appetizer of what Pluto and Aquarius is going to be like between now and June. Then between June and January of 2024, Pluto goes back into Capricorn. See, every year, every summer, Pluto goes retrograde. So it's going to be like the windshield wiper. It'll go back, it'll go forward in Aquarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Capricorn. So it's going to keep doing that. Then in January 24, all the way to September 24, it goes back into Aquarius again. And then between September and November of next year, it goes back into Capricorn. That's the final pop quiz. That's the very, very, very last time. And then in 11, 19, 20, 24, it's in Aquarius full time. And guess what? Because Pluto is a dwarf planet, and it's not particularly large. It's a dwarf. It's literally classified now as a dwarf planet. It has a weird orbit because of where it is. It's a smaller planet, so it's in each sign, like I said, between 12 and 24 years. So because it's in each sign and it has this weird orbit, some signs it's in longer than others. It is going to be in Aquarius until 2044. Okay, 21 years it's going to be in Aquarius. So we are going to have an entire generation of people, maybe even 2 generations of people born with Pluto in Aquarius in their astrological birth chart. Now, if you have any planets, somebody here commented that they have planets in Aquarius. If you have any planets in Aquarius, Pluto is going to go over some of these planets in your chart. And I can tell you right now, it's change. It's the most transformational planet in a chart. It sometimes is ouchy because it's associated with death, rebirth, transformation, change, phoenix rising. So it's not literal death, but it's like something burns down and then rises up out of the ashes like the great phoenix. Whoo! So if you are an Aquarius, if you are a Leo, you got any of that going on, you are in the heart of this, okay? But like I said, it takes so long to even get into Aquarius, and it's going to take so long. So if you were born at the end of Aquarius, like all the way at the very end of that February cycle, it's not going to reach you until 2044. But if you're in the beginning of Aquarius, like you're right in like January 20th, 21st, 22nd, if you're born around that, it's hitting you like a freight train. It's going to hit you head on. And so be ready to change. That's all I can say. Ashley asked if it was retrograde. It's retrograde every year, Ashley. Every single year, every single summer. Okay, so Wendy, February 4th. Okay. So yeah, you're gonna get it, but not for a little while, like a few years. I mean, it's gonna be a few years. Hey, Brett, how you doing? Happy spring. Kelly, Leo rising. Yeah, so that's going to oppose you pretty much right away, Kelly. Your Leo rising is going to oppose your rising sign pretty much right away. So I want to talk about, and we're going to have to talk more about this. The good news about this is that, and this is kind of what I was alluding to a couple weeks ago, and again, I have a video on that on my YouTube channel about how Saturn has been in Aquarius for the last 2 years. So it's like a relay race. Like, so Saturn was, like how you have the baton and you pass the baton on, this is my selenite wand. I'm using it for demonstration purposes. But let's say you're running a relay race, right? And Saturn's in Aquarius for the last 2 years, and we have all these big technological breakthroughs. We have AI, we have ChatGPT, we have all of these things, okay, that we had a lot of medical and scientific and technological breakthroughs because Aquarius is able to really good at technology, science and things like that. So when the planets are doing their thing, basically what Saturn just did is handed off the baton to Pluto. Pluto is going to now take over and kind of run with it. The last time Pluto was in this sign was the year 1778, all the way to 1798 was the last time Pluto was in Aquarius. So nobody has a point of reference currently. None of us, again, have lived that long to know what this is going to be like. But if you think about history, that was the time. And the time before that was 1532 until 1553. So the 1500s. So what was going on during that time, right? So Pluto and Aquarius is these big, long things. Now, I want to kind of cover something, and then I'm going to finish the week because I haven't even finished the week yet. I want to cover what the deal is with Pluto and generations. Okay, so all of us have Pluto in our chart, and I'm going to go over each and every, so you guys need to know what year you were born, which most of us do. Hey, Kathleen, Leo from Vermont, welcome. And so each and every generation really is tied to Pluto. It's kind of an interesting thing. Okay, so Pluto in Leo, we'll start with that because that's the baby boomer generation. Leo, okay? Leo, all right, associated with royalty, associated with what about me and how about me? Oh, it's called the me generation. Interesting. Can't even make this stuff up, folks. 1937 to 1958. So if you were born in that time frame and you are a baby boomer, 1937 to 1958, you have Pluto and Leo permanently in your chart. And so what happens is during these big generational things with like Pluto creates, look, I mean, a lot of people with Pluto are powerful, I mean, that was like a big, powerful time. Baby boomers, big, powerful time. all these people are now continuing that work of Pluto and Leo because we all have Pluto somewhere in our chart. So the next time was Pluto in Virgo, and that was early Generation X. So if you were born between 1956 and 1972, most likely you have Pluto in Virgo in your chart. I'm going to just say I am one of them. That's my only Virgo I have in all of my chart is Pluto. But so if you were an early Gen Xer, and if you think about Virgo, Virgo's the Virgin, right? So how the ancients kind of portrayed the Virgin as kind of like being sort of self-reliant and autonomous and things like that. And if you think about Generation X, that was sort of like what the deal was, right? Like, go home by yourself, hopefully you'll make it. Open up a can of Chef Boyardee, watch some after school special, you'll be just fine. That was Pluto and Virgo. Now Pluto, so late Gen X people, so this was early Gen X. Late Gen X was Pluto in Libra, and that was 1971 going to 1984. And if you think about Libra, okay, Libra, the scales, okay, all about justice, all about social reform. In fact, a lot of people refer to Libra, that Libra time frame, 71 to 84, as being like kind of like women's self-empowerment and things like that. It was sort of like the second feminism sort of like uprising. Plus a lot of like court things started during that time. Like People's Court was a thing, like you would watch TV, it was People's Court, and so there was a lot of like Lady Libra was the scales, and so balance, fairness, justice, and all that. So if you were born between that time, you had Pluto in Libra, or you have Pluto in Libra. The next generation is actually a powerful generation, a big powerful, is millennials. Okay, Pluto in Scorpio, 1983 to 1995. So that Pluto cycle was shorter. It was actually the shortest one out of all of these. 1983 to 95, but it didn't matter because, boy, we had a lot of babies during that time. So millennials came out, but they, think about Pluto and Scorpio, they kind of like came into like a hard times, like 9/11 happened with the terrorism attacks. We were involved with Iran and Afghanistan as far as wars go. There was financial downturns. There was all kinds of stuff going on between that time. And they've had kind of one thing after another. I know a lot of people talk about millennials somewhat in a negative standpoint, but geez, look what they went through and what they're continuing to go through. Now, generations also, I should say this, are not defined until they're around the age of 20 to 30 to see what their flavor is. What are they going to be about? And so some of these generations haven't even been defined yet. Pluto and Sagittarius. So if you were a Gen Z, 1995 to 2008 is Pluto and Sagittarius. Now, that was kind of like good times right there, 95 to 08. A lot of Gen Zers are the first ever digital natives, they were born right into all the technology and all the different things. So they are digital natives, Gen Zers, and they're just starting to kind of come around, and like we're starting to kind of get to know them better. They're the cancel culture. They are responsible for that. It was a time of the real estate boom. So remember when I was talking about how when Pluto went into Capricorn, boom, everything fell. But if you think about Pluto and Sagittarius, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. It makes everything big. So if you think about the real estate time, they used to call them McMansions, if you guys remember that, with all the stucco, and they were like these big gargantuan like buildings. That all got set up until Pluto got into Capricorn, and boom, down it went. Okay, so Pluto and Capricorn, 2008 to now, okay, literally like this week, is late Gen Z. And then the new name they think is going to be Generation Alpha, which is very Capricorn if you think about Gen Alpha. Okay, like, I literally call, and many other astrologers do too, they've nicknamed Capricorn the CEO of the zodiac. So if you think of alpha, you know, in charge and all that, the banks and who's this and who's that and all that, that's very alpha in a way. So we don't even know what those folks are going to be like because they're still little. They're still young, youngins. But so late Generation Z and Generation Alpha are associated with Pluto and Capricorn, and now we're going to have the new wave, the new time of Pluto going into Aquarius, which is a whole new generation now. We're going to have a whole new vibe and a whole new time frame, and it's going to last a long time, 2044. So, I mean, I don't even want to think about how old I'm going to be at that point, but hopefully I'll still be here doing broadcasts. That would be fun, teaching you guys astrology. My goal in life is to have everybody like talk the language of astrology, doctors, lawyers, whomever, like, you know, because it is so helpful and it is an ancient art, but boy, is it helpful to so many people. Knowing this stuff is helpful. And knowing that we're about to face this big change. And I am telling you, it's definitely going to be in the realm of all things digital. AI is just going to continue on. There's probably going to be problems with it. It's probably going to be, you know, kind of like times it's going to be strange, you know, because AI is kind of strange. Artificial intelligence is AI. And so we're going to be dealing with that, and we're going to have a lot, but we're also going to have a lot of medical breakthroughs. Like we might even cure cancer in that time or have an idea of how it's spread and different things. I mean, it's going to be amazing. It's just also going to have a lot of problems. I mean, you know, Pluto doesn't, you know, we don't have the entrance into these time frames with like, oh, everything's fine and hunky dory. I mean, some of these big time frames in history are associated with some of these signs. And if you think about the different times, yeah, UFOs. Yeah, UFOs. I mean, that's definitely conspiracy theories. I mean, this is all Aquarius stuff. All cryptocurrency is ruled by Uranus, and so we have that Aquarian sort of lens with crypto. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on with all that. So again, I might break it up into another another broadcast, but this is a big deal. And so, like I said, we're getting the first flavor of it between now and June 11th. Okay, so it's going to be on, just to recap, on Thursday, March 23rd this week. Pluto's entering Aquarius for the first time in our lives, in all of our lives. This is brand new for all of us. On 8:13 a.m. Eastern time. Rosie from the Jetsons are cleaning your house. Yeah, I totally feel like the Jetsons are very Aquarius. That's in a very like Uranus Aquarius kind of thing. So yeah, so we're gonna have some of that. We already have like things like, you know, different types of little technology like ring buttons and whatever, ring doorbells and things like that, but it's going to keep going and going. It's going to be kind of crazy crazy fun, but also crazy wild. I think it's going to be like the new Wild West. AI and technology is going to be just like ramping up even more. Okay, so one more thing. On Saturday, Mars is finally switching signs. On Saturday, Mars is finally switching signs. So, Mars has been in Gemini, holy cow, all the way since last year, August 21st, 2022. August 21st, 2022. Until this Saturday, March 25th, 2023, at 7:45 a.m. Eastern Time, it is going to go into Cancer, leaving Gemini. So if you have any planets in Cancer, and a lot of people in this broadcast said their moon's in Cancer, their rising signs in Cancer, a couple people, you know, are talking about that. You are going to feel this Mars. Now, the reason why I say really long time is because Mars went retrograde in the fall of last year, all the way until January. From October to January, Mars was in Gemini retrograde. So it usually Mars is in each sign for like a month and a half or so, roughly. And so it stayed so long in Gemini. So we are coming out of Gemini. So if you have any Gemini in your chart, you've been feeling Mars crunching down on you. Mars is the god of war. Now Mars is going into Cancer, home and family, home and family, home and family, home and family. I will say this. Mars is considered to be at its detriment in the sign of Cancer, and meaning that it doesn't really it's not at its highest expression in Cancer, but I'm just so grateful and glad personally that that it's leaving Gemini finally, that I'm kind of glad about that. It's in each sign every 2 years, so Mars is going to be in Cancer for a little while until May 20th, 2023. So it's going to be almost 2 months, because it's still even now still a little slow. It's moving just a little slow, but thank goodness it's moving on. So March 25th to May 20th, it will be in Cancer. So you need to know where Cancer is in your personal astrological chart. Or if you are a Cancer, you're going to get the Mars thing. Now, Mars is the god of war, yes, but Mars is also energy, drive, and ambition. And so when our energy and our drive and our ambition was retrograde last year, everybody was contacting me going, I can't make any progress in my life. What's happening? Well, now we can make some progress. Just keep in mind it's in Cancer the crab, and crabs move like this. So it's not a direct straight shot, and that's the way that Mars likes to go. Mars is, is the ruler of Aries, and Aries likes to, go straight forward. If you think of Aries the ram, Aries, kind of butts heads. Hey, my dog is kind of doing something here. I don't know what he's doing, but Aries likes to kind of go straight forward. So Cancer is the crab, and Cancer kind of moves side by side. So that's why they say Mars is at detriment in the sign of Cancer, because it basically does that. It doesn't move, but I'm just grateful it's out of Gemini finally, because I think Geminis are all exhausted. All you Geminis out there, anybody Gemini, oh my gosh, you've been having Mars up in your grill. Okay, so now we have Mars in Cancer, and we'll be dealing with that. So Mars is sensitive in Cancer, and also it's about home and family, real estate, and our family. So the god of war in our family zone, yikes, so you want to make sure you don't maybe touch on hot topics with the family, if you know what I mean. But if you're a real estate agent, if you're a loan officer for real estate, if you work at Home Goods, if you're somebody that likes to bake and cook, any kind of domestic stuff, if you are in a domestic kind of related field, or if you are the master of your household, this could be helpful for you. This could be very beneficial, because it's driving all things homebound. Okay, so that's basically what the deal is with Mars. Mars is an active energy, so maybe Mars wants to power wash the deck in Cancer, scrape off the grill in Cancer. Like, you can't let Mars just sit and be stagnant. You have to let Mars move and have energy and flow and all that good stuff. And so that is a thing with Mars and Cancer. So we'll have some Cancerian energy coming on Saturday. I wasn't sure I was going to get through all that. If you liked it, make sure if you guys find value in this, make sure you like and share, maybe tag a friend, anybody that might want to watch this, on Facebook here, that's great. And, or on YouTube, go make sure that you do my YouTube channel as well. So I'm going to just recap, and then I'm going to pull a card for this week, and I'm going to take 1 or 2 questions. I don't want this video to be too long. To recap, Sunday, Mercury went into Aries on March 19th, and we're going to have 2 weeks of Mercury in Aries all the way until April 3rd. So Mercury in Aries, bold talking. That's what Mercury in Aries like. Sun moved into Aries today, spring equinox, start of Aries season. So for a whole month, we got Aries. You got solar power going through your Aries sector of your chart. It's lighting up your Aries sector. And so if Aries is in a good sector for you and in your chart, yay. And you'll know that if you generally get along really well with Aries, then this will probably be positive for you. But if you find Aries people to be challenging, this might not be as easy of a season for you. Now, right after, we have the new moon coming in Aries tomorrow, Tuesday, March 21st at 1:23 p.m. 1:23. And that's going to be in Aries, so we can celebrate. And we have that Jupiter-Saturn thing, you know, that stuff. We have Ceres moving into Virgo, Earth sign, Virgo. And that is going to be on Wednesday, March 22nd, 11:39 p.m. Then on Thursday, we have Pluto moving into Aquarius. And that's going to be on Thursday, March 23rd. On Saturday, we do have Mars moving into Cancer, and that is going to be for 2 months until May 20th in the astrological sign of Cancer. It's so much. And when this happens, when there's a lot of energy all at one time, and there's a lot of things moving into new signs and new sectors of a chart, in your chart, in other people's charts, it's so much that even though it's not all, like, it's not negative energy, like new moon's not negative and things like that, but it can create such a stirring up that there's so much, it's like some people do perceive it as negative. I will say this one thing, because somebody just commented, I'm so sorry that you're tired and kind of nauseated. I will say this, Aries is associated with the head. All things related to the head. So whether that's hearing, whether it's your eyesight, whether it's headaches, whether it's pain in the mouth, any kind of thing, though teeth are technically Capricorn, it's the nose, it's all the stuff is Aries, is the head. So sometimes people do get headaches or sinus stuff. I mean, think about Aries is starting, you know, spring equinox is lovely and all, but it also brings hay fever and pollen and things like that. And that can all be very Aries oriented. So you might want to kind of watch that. All right. So I am going to, I'm going to pull a card here. I'm going to pull cards. Yes, Melinda said very busy astrological week. I'm so sorry, Joanne, that you're having problems. Kelly, you told a girl at work today about my broadcast. Thank you. Emily, thank you. Gretchen, you're welcome. Archangel Ariel, if you need to have a little bit more courage, strength, fortitude to get through some of this, because remember, Aries is all about feel the fear, do it anyway. A lot of astrologers paint Aries like we're bold pioneers, and we are, but a lot of Aries I know are very afraid. A lot of Aries, like, we go through a lot behind the scenes of like, I don't know if I should do this, blah, blah, blah. Us Aries tend to do that. And then we come out and we just do it. And it's, I think to other people, it seems like, oh, that's effortless. And she didn't have any problem with that. But a lot of Aries people I know, a lot of my clients that are Aries, like riddled with fears. So it's feel the fear and do it anyway. That's the Aries motto, really. Almir, you're welcome. Okay, so what do we need to know about all this energy? Nobody's posting any questions here. Andrea said, yes, we do it anyway. That's exactly right. We go through a process. It's usually like this. And in fact, I have people that are married to Aries. So their spouse is an Aries, and they'll be like, oh God, they're just like always bitching and complaining about this or this. And they're just like, but that's the Aries process behind the scenes. So it's like coming out and being bold, but it's like after this process of being afraid. I don't know if that helps, but a lot of Aries have a lot of, I think, astrological pressure. So what do we need to know about this week in astrology with all this big planetary stuff going on? What do we need to know? What's the most important thing? Angels, spirit guides, and guardians. Wow. Okay. I had one fly out there. I didn't even pull it, but this is it. Gifts from God. Gifts from God. Archangel Sandalphon, which is ironically the archangel associated with Pisces, and we just shifted out of Pisces season, so that's wonderful. Pisces gave us a little, Archangel Sandalphon gave us a little parting gift, and that is, we angels bring you gifts from your creator. Open your arms to receive. Archangel Sandalphon. Okay. Beautiful archangel. And By the way, the archangels are associated with colors, and Archangel Ariel is light pink. So I thought, and rainbow too, rainbow color. So I thought that was kind of cool. But Archangel Sandalphon is here helping us and guiding us so that we don't get lost in all of this. There are going to be gifts and blessings that soon we will understand. There's going to be this week on the news is going to be kind of cray cray. I know I said that last week and the week before because this whole month has been like that, but the news is going to be big this week, especially with the pending stuff going on with our former president of the United States. So we'll have to see how that goes. Whether you're for, against, indifferent, doesn't matter. This is the astrology of it. So, yeah, so it's a thing. So what do we need to know? What do we need to know? Oh no. Jody said, you need Aries in your sign to kick your butt and get your health back. What's going on with your health, girl? You don't have to say on the camera, but I'm just, Holly, I'm going to pull a card for you. What's going on? What does Holly need to know? Holly, you're getting the card perfectionism. Now, obviously, this is not like, it's about your medical. I feel like as if you, how do I say this? I feel like as if you are generally in good health, but I just kind of feel like there's things starting to pop up. Like it kind of feels mild, but it could be, and of course I don't predict anything on these broadcasts as far as like health issues and things like that, but I just sort of feel like as if there's things that could tip into an ugly direction if you don't jump on them. So I don't know if it's like there's something here going on in your body. I almost feel like it's tight in my chest, like, so I don't know if you're having anxiety or asthma or some kind of like pulmonary thing, but there feels like a tightness, like I almost like can't breathe, but sometimes that's also anxiety. So you want to watch that. I'm also kind of feeling like stuffy sinus feeling too in your head and face. So yeah, so there's some things going on. So what I would say to you, Holly, is maybe go and get checked at the doctor. Don't be too perfect on yourself, like, or demand that you have, perfect, like that things are perfect. Because I almost feel like it's something you have to like kind of deal with as far as like a long-term, thing, like maintenance, in other words, like kind of like if somebody's diabetic and they have to have like insulin or something like that. It's nothing's perfect, but you can balance it and maintain it. That's kind of what it feels like to me. It's something you can maintain. So yeah, so I hope that helps. So let me see. Monica said, oh, Iris means rainbow, and that's your daughter's name. Yeah, and she's an Aries. Aries. Iris has a lot of Aries in her chart. We'll just say that. Ashley, you're waiting to hear about your housing issue. Gift from God. That's exactly right. Oh, okay. Oh, Jody, you said you're having a breathing issue. So see, yeah. Yep. So yeah, it feels like in this kind of area, pulmonary area, but it could also be anxiety, but breathing, yeah, you want to get that checked. That's something that you want to definitely check out. But I do feel like you can manage it, whatever that is. Do you have a history of asthma or something? Because I do feel like I can't take a deep breath when I'm talking about you. Yeah. So I am going to let you all go and have a wonderful good night. I don't want this broadcast to be too long, but we have a lot of planetary energies going on. So if you are interested in a personalized astrological session, you can always check out my website, GretchenHeidel.com, and I have all a list of my readings on there and their prices and all the different things. And if you would like to follow me, please do so. I do put out a lot of free content, a lot of free information. I try to help you guys be able to help yourselves and all that. So I'm sending all of you lots of love, lots of blessings. I'm really, really, really grateful that you guys come and you visit with me on Monday nights. I think it's so special. And so yeah, so have a wonderful evening. Lots of prayers, lots of good, sending you guys all good energy. And I'll see you guys next Monday night. Bye.